everybody. Welcome to season 3 of What's IGN Crashing On. I'm Karen Walby Solomon, and I'm your host. And we're here to talk about what's hot in pop culture. Welcome to episode 9 of season 3 of What's IGN Crashing On. I'm Karen Walby Solomon, and I'm here today with Leanne Lakshmi Phillipson. How are you doing, my girl?
I'm good. How are you? How's your week?
I'm fine. My week is good. Actually, when I said my girl, I in my head I sounded like Amanda Bynes in She's the Man when she's like, "What up, bro, brothers, brethren?" I've been watching a lot of TikToks where people are using that sound and like are people dressing up like as Amanda Bynes in She's the
And
Man in
she's the
like
man.
for like Halloween or something, and and it makes me laugh every time. Like I'm watching the movie for the first time, even though.
I
But
mean, it's actually one
anyway,
of the ones we need to rewatch because we've been on a. Because Netflix got What a Girl Wants, which is Amanda
yes.
Bynes and Colin Firth. So we watched that
Uh,
one. And I was like, oh, Amanda Bynes. So funny. Yeah.
why are you trying so hard to be wait to be like everybody else when you were born to be what is that saying?
To stand
Um
out
to
or
stand out.
something.
Yeah, why are you
Yeah.
trying so hard to fit in when you were born to stand out? I
Oh, the
love that
cheesy
line.
one-liners. Cheesy
Love that
one-liners
line. I'm
everywhere.
like, you're right. Boy with the spiky hair. Why am I trying so hard to fit in? I was born to stand out. What's his name? Oliver. What's his name? Not Oliver. He looks like an Oliver.
Yeah, I feel like his name was Oliver.
It's been a while
Um,
since I watched, so
I mean, my memory is shit, so please don't ask me any more questions.
don't ask me any more questions. So we have a great show today. We're joined by George Mnguni, who's otherwise known as Okay Wasabi. Um, he's a sketch comedian. He's a TV presenter, online content creator. He does a lot of things, and he also knows a shit ton about Marvel. He has read the comics. He's super into the MCU and all the different shows, Netflix shows, whatever. And I chatted to him before, and we spoke about the Eternals. So if you have not seen Eternals, I will remind you after Leanne and I do a little shiz, like a little chat. But do not listen because we spoil everything. Like maybe not everything, but we spoil the important parts. So if you have not seen the film, please jump off and come back when you have. But we talk about that. We talk about what's coming up, the multiverse of
Spider-Man 3.
madness, the new Spider-Man movie. We talk about the Marvel Netflix shows. We even spoke a bit about Saturday Night Live. You guys know how much I love Saturday Night Live, so and he was very inspired by it, and he references the era that inspired him, which was great because that was when I also watched. But lovely conversation. He's amazing. He has thousands of followers, so most people know he's amazing. But yeah, so that's coming up in this episode. But before we get to that, we have two pieces of celeb. There's a lot that's going on in Celebville, but because our chat
Yes,
to George
too
was so
much.
long, we have to kind of narrow it down to two things. So Leanne and I picked two which we were particularly intrigued by this past week. And the first is our girl Kim Kardashian has been spotted with young Pete Davidson, the man who's
Everybody
just
is shooketh.
do you know what?
I
I quite like him. You know what? I'm gonna say it. Like I didn't before. When he was dating Phoebe, his last girlfriend, I was like, what is it with this guy? I can't anymore. And now I'm
yeah,
just like, you know what?
I
This
think
man.
I've seen Kings of Staten Island. That's his
Mm,
semi
movie.
biopic. What
Mm.
movie? And I've obviously been seeing a lot of clips of him in interviews and stuff. And I get it because when you first see him, he's just what is happening? Such chaotic energy, right? But the more you get to know character or the persona that he's obviously putting out there for people. And to be fair, I do think it's because he comes across as a genuine, authentic person. Like, he knows he's a mess. He acknowledges he's a mess and he pokes fun at himself, which isn't a thing. I think a lot of people try to do it or do it well, but he does it exceptionally well.
Mm.
And he just has that like good guy energy. So I mean, I get it. I get Pete Davidson. Do I get Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian? Still no. I'm it's too much. It's too much.
But in Saturday Night Live, when like he does this bit on the Weekend Update show where he just is like talks about his life, and his
Yeah.
life is always just chaotic enough that. But he's, as you say, he's very good at like being authentic and honest, and it feels it real. So like you feel like he's letting you in. So when he was with
Yeah.
Ariana, he spoke about their relationship and how she was releasing a song with his name on, and he's like, even if we break up, she'll still be making money off my name whenever someone listens to that song. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And then he went on again to talk about like he's like, how come when I get seen, like when I'm seen with like hot girls, people always have a problem with it, but but then he's like, Colin Jost hangs out with hot people all the time and no one says anything. he's he's rubbing shoulders, who knows what else with the Avengers, and I and like and I'm the problem. And so I do enjoy that about him. um but I mean, it's yet to know if they are actually like together. There's no pictures of them like hooking up. They could just be friends. They could have got along at the show and just been hanging out.
So yeah, I think so far the news we know is that there was obviously the picture of them at that on a theme ride or whatever, holding hands.
Mm.
That's the one where everyone lost their mind. But since then, Kim has shown up in Staten Island, and it appears they had dinner at his favorite pizza place. And there are pictures, and the pictures are hilarious. Just because, so it's Kim rocking up in Kim outfits, like black velvet skin tight dress that like goes to her shoes, and she's got the gloves on and she's got the shades on, and then he's like in a green hoodie with his blonde hair, and I'm just like, well, what is happening? Why? But in saying that, like I said, I've been watching obviously so many TikToks about this, and one of them said like, I think because Pete is just such a nice guy, he just has like good guy energy. I think that's how he's getting all these A-list celebs, just because I don't think Hollywood's filled with the nicest types of people. And so if you're coming
Mm.
across someone who's down to earth and genuine and is like, I am what I am,
Yeah.
that must be refreshing. That must be good to want to hang out with. Also, we all know he's hung. So,
Okay. But like, I don't know. I like this for Kim. I'm like, I want like, but they say he hasn't. Somebody said they're like, he hasn't filmed anything for this show, so it means it's serious. So it's
oh,
not like it's not PR or anything like that. Um.
wow.
So, and I know they were also seen at like they were at like a private club in New York where just like publicists and like some of Kim's close friends were. And I just think Kim needs a break after Kanye, to be honest. Like, if he's a break, if he's just like something for a couple of months, if he's just someone who's down to earth, as you say, like, then that's a good thing. Like, just give the
Yeah.
girl a break. Like, let her chill and not have to worry about what
Let her
her
lay down in a
husband or partner's going to say
yeah, in
or
a
having to do
non-high risk
damage control.
situation.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But
I
according to
hear you.
Kanye, they still married. So she's still his wife. He hasn't gotten any divorce papers or anything. So,
Oh, is he like weighed in on the situation?
well, he was asked about it before the pictures came out. So he was just asked about Kim. And then she had made a comment when she was on SNL and like, oh, I divorced him. And she said on SNL she divorced me, but I haven't seen any divorce papers or something like that. She's still my wife. So
Oh wow.
I don't know what's going on, but I feel like the news will come out soon enough. Kris Jenner will go to her favorite tabloid TMZ and tell them what's going on.
It'll get
So we
leaked in
just
time for the
yeah,
reveal,
it'll
and
leak. So we will know soon enough with Kim. And that's also refreshing. With some celebs, you never know what goes on, and all respect to them. But like with
but also
okay,
I appreciate celebs that are doing what celebs need to do and like giving us chaotic energy to like feed off of and wonder about and talk about. Like, I appreciate both of them coming together to form this ridiculous union so that we can once again escape the mundaneness of our lives. Like, thank you.
side note, also talking about Pete Davidson, Kaylee Kuoko, whatever. She was being interviewed by someone, and they asked her, "So is the Man of Steel made of steel?" And talking about Henry Cavill because she was seen with him like a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
and she
yeah,
was like, "I don't know," and they were like, "She's lying." So like she's like, I don't know. She knows.
she
Um,
knows.
yeah,
She
they play that.
knows.
She knows. I think she knows. Um, but also, over this weekend, we had Chris Pratt. They call him Chris Pratt. Some drama with
The Pratt.
him. So,
The Pratt
fella,
Chris Pratt.
so he posted on Instagram like a dedication to his wife, Catherine
Hmm.
Schwarzenegger. Like he posted a whole, my wife, she puts up with a lot, and if I don't remember, I don't know if you have his post there.
So
I'll read
I'm
it.
gonna read it because I have it open. Guys, for real, look how she's looking at me. I mean, find you somebody that looks at you like that, you know? We met in church, full stop. She's given me an amazing life, a gorgeous, healthy daughter. She chews so loudly that sometimes I put in my earbuds to drown it out, but that's love. She helps me with everything. In return, periodically, I open a jar of pickles. That's the trade. Her heart is pure and it belongs to me. My greatest treasure, right next to my Ken Griffey Jr. Upper Deck rookie card, which, if you know is saying a lot. It's her birthday in about 6 weeks, so if I don't get her anything, I'll tell her to look back on this post. Love you, honey.
Why not just wait for a birthday also to post that? Like,
I know. Also, the fact that you were saying that in 6 weeks you're going to forget is very weird. I mean, that's not the weirdest part of this post, but that was very strange. You didn't have to put that in there. You could have just been like, love you, honey. Thank you, goodbye. Do you know? Anyway.
so so a lot of people it was causing a bit of an uproar because his um his son Jack by Anna Faris is was premature, and he wasn't that healthy when he was born. He had a lot of problems. And they were saying like the whole point that he referred to their child as my healthy daughter was very
Felt like a
insulting.
slight.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Um
I think for me it was that which was odd, but then it was also the fact that he never, if it's meant to be a post as a tribute to your wife, he never
mm,
referred to anything about her that was not removed of him. So it
mm,
was, her heart belongs to me. She looks at me. She's given me an amazing life. It was just, it was a very self-centered way of
yeah.
posting. And it was so interesting because I saw a TikTok by a guy and he was basically saying like in post-Christian communities there was a realization of how men spoke about their partners, particularly if you were like in leadership within the church.
Mm,
And the way it was very like, look at my wife, she's so beautiful, she's so good for our family, she's such a great homemaker. And just it had that energy,
mm,
which was just, yeah, people are not people without the patriarchy and the, yeah,
yeah.
just it just felt icky, just
Mm.
icky.
But he gives bad vibes. Like I used to be like a very avid. listener to Anna Faris's podcast when they were still together, and he was so nice. And I really like. I was really like sad when they got divorced,
Mm,
but now seeing what he's become, and I don't know if he was like this before, or if he there was a he found the church after he was with her or whatever.
mm,
But like, just like seeing how it was, I'm like, oh, my girl got out. She's got like a nice, healthy relationship now.
yeah.
Like, and she just seems like she's like having a better life, and it's sad, but like, shame he's Chris Pratt. I just yeah. Do you remember when people were saying that he was the worst Chris? And then
Yes.
all the Avengers like made a statement like, this guy is so
He's more
great.
confused. Yeah, but they said that because he was making homophobic comments. Like, guys, was it because there was the reason the worst Chris thing came about was because he made
No,
comments.
it was just like people were doing that one Christmas go. So it was like, to say it was like Evans, Pine, Hemsworth, and then everyone, and Pratt, and everyone said Pratt must go, and they're like, only one, like
Well,
one
Brett
must
must
go.
go. I'm so sick of him. I don't like him. He can just live in his
Pratt
house and
must
have his
go,
wife stare at him weirdly and like go to church. Fine.
and make his Guardians movie. So on that Guardians note, here's your last reminder. If you have not seen the Eternals, please jump off the podcast because we go deep, deep. And if you have seen the Eternals, this is such. I'm not just saying this because I was part of the conversation, but this is such a rewarding conversation and such a great um, analysis of the film. So I hope you enjoy and let us know what you think. We will chat to you again at the end of the app. Hi, George. Welcome so much. Welcome to What's IGN Crushing On. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for. I'm gonna enjoy being here already. I can tell. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I can't complain. Yeah, I can't complain. I'm good. How are you?
I'm great.
Mm,
So I want to get you on to chat about Marvel because I know what a
yes.
big Marvel fan you are because I've been following you for so long, and and yeah, I mean, it's okay. We can talk about that in a second, but
Yes.
like
Yes.
so I know you're a comedian, you're a TV presenter, you influencer, all these things, but
Sure.
and I'm sure most of the listeners know that as well. But for those who don't, tell us some more about you. Like, tell us about
Sure.
who you are and what you do.
Sure. So yeah, my name is Okay Wasabi, real name George, but people on the internet know me as Okay Wasabi. Yeah, I'm a online content creator. I mostly came in the game by making comedy skits and stuff like that. And yeah, that was like what 8 years ago now. So I've been in the game for a while. Now what I do mostly now is TV presenting, brand collaborations, and yeah, still video creation, which is my first passion and stuff like that. And like you said, I'm a huge comic book fan. I think a lot of people think I'm very biased towards Marvel, and maybe it's true, but I just gravitate towards more MCU movies. But I do love DC movies too. But yeah, in general,
Mm.
in general, I'm just a huge nerd. Because it's just comic books, it's just anime, whatever. So you couldn't have picked a better guest today.
That's why I said I was shooting my shot. I was like, this is the
Yes,
best
yes,
person I can ask. Let me ask him and see if he's keen. Um,
yes.
so like one thing that I've always like I've loved about your journey is that,
Mm,
if we look at like people who've made a career in sort of comedy and stuff, they usually
yes,
start with stand up. And like I
yes, yes.
love that you're like you start, or I don't know if you started, but I mean like your
Started
public,
online.
yeah, and with
Ye-
sketch, like I love sketch with
Yes,
my whole entire heart. So
exactly.
like
Yes, 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 yes. I mean, I think it's. I was greatly influenced by what is this DSTV giving us Saturday Night Live.
oh
Uh, that was like I think that was the point in my life where when I was in what, primary or high school, probably primary, And Saturday Night Live used to literally play every Sunday morning, I think, or Saturday night.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I fell in love deeply with sketch comedy back then. And with the all-star team, to me, it's an all-star team with people who are legends now, but they weren't. I don't think they were legends back then. From Tina Fey to Andy Samberg to Jason Sudeikis, who's doing what's the soccer game? Soccer Ted Lasso. Yeah. Oh, those are my people. Those are like the people I grew up on. I was like, that's my Amy Poehler, that's my all-star team. So yeah, they played a huge thing in hand in me starting with sketch comedy and say, I want to do that. And besides, I think I have huge stage fright. That's why when people would always ask me like, hey, George, do you want to do this MC gig and stuff like that? There's a corporate, I don't MC. I have huge stage fright. That's why I don't think I've done stand-up yet, because it's just, I think I like sketches because I can shoot and I don't like that take. Let's record it again, edit, cut, and then, with stand-up, if you don't make people laugh right now, it's just a quiet room and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess we all have our fears, basically. Yeah.
It's also like what I do like, or what SNL has done is that they've, I think especially with like when Andy Samberg them started with like the video shorts.
Yes.
Like, it's just a new way of doing it. It's so brilliant.
They killed it. Like they were really amazing. Like, I think, speaking of Andy Samberg, there's a skit that he did called My Sister's What? I don't know, but he uses it's a very big skit because Jason Derulo even has a song using that sample and stuff like that. And it was called SNL Digital Shorts. And they revolutionized that part of SNL and made it that just much more amazing. And yeah, they were huge inspirations to me. And like, that's why I think I got into skits and I was like, I can do what those guys are doing. Literally. Yeah.
And you probably opened a lot more doors for other sketch comedians in South Africa, because I mean, like, I didn't see it before you. I mean, I'm sure it was there, but I mean, I hadn't seen it like really big here before you, other than like,
I would hope so. If anyone says it, I wouldn't disagree with it. But I'm like, maybe because it's huge now. It is very huge now. Like, it's all over Instagram. It's all over. I think if I didn't show a lot of people how to do this thing, it was maybe because I was probably maybe just lucky that I literally begged my mom to get me a phone that can shoot videos and stuff like that. And other people probably they probably wanted to do skits, but they weren't so fortunate. And it's also right now, it's where technology is meeting also accessibility, because back then, getting a video camera phone was not easy. That's why I had to beg, and that's why it was like a huge investment, which was and worth it. But now, like, whenever people ask me, hey George, how do I start my career online? How do I start my YouTube channel? How do I? I'm like, hey guys, your phones have pretty good cameras these days. It's not like back in the day where it's either you get a camera or you can't shoot. Now, like, people are shooting amazing things with their phones, and phones quality is amazing, but people really love story more than everything else. Like, I think it goes story, audio, and then picture in technical terms, because people will love story. They'll watch terrible quality, but as long as it's funny and as long as they can hear something, they can hear pretty clearly. So these days there's no excuse. Literally, you can pick up your phone and just go viral tomorrow.
So TikTok is like what TikTok is right now.
Exactly. TikTok kids are killing it. The kids, they are killing it. And they just literally picked up a phone and they said, hey, I've got something relatable to shoot. Let's go. Yeah, pretty much.
So like, so obviously I've been following you on Twitter for a while, and something that I always like, what I like about your account is that you have good engagement with your followers. Like, if somebody like comments on something, you will respond back with like a proper thing. You have the discussion with them.
Yes.
So like, have you found that's been like beneficial for you?
I think so. Like, I try my best to respond to as many people as I can, because it's also, I think, people who have the same interests gravitate towards my account and stuff like that. So it's easy to talk to. Like, I don't really like talking about things that are that have nothing to do with me, or like,
Mm.
yeah, I'll see maybe trending topics and I'm like, I have no opinion on that. But if it's music or it's comics or something like that, and it's easy to engage with, and I'm like, hey, and I'm very strong about my opinion.
Mm.
I try now to like relax, because I feel like, you know what, we all have our different opinions. Like
Yeah.
we all have a different rating towards this song or this movie and stuff like that. But I get at the end of the day, I think that's what Twitter was made for. It's just engaging, responding, and joking, literally. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the big issue right now, The
Yes.
Eternals.
Yeah.
The most divisive Marvel movie I've ever experienced. But
Yes.
okay, maybe Captain Marvel was also pretty
You know,
divisive.
I was actually about to say that, like, Captain Marvel also was, but I was just shocked, man. Before I watched the movie, I was just shocked of the ratings before the movie actually came out. But yeah, there's a lot to unpack about this movie. There's a lot. I won't even lie to you. There's a lot to unpack.
So this is gonna be spoiler galore. I'll put
Okay,
a spoiler warning
spoilers
before
allowed.
this. Yeah, spoilers
Okay.
allowed. I don't like talking about things without spoilers. I'm the worst.
Exactly. I think it's hard. I think it's close to impossible, actually, talking about a movie. Yeah.
And I feel like anything can be a spoiler for some people. They'll be like, let's feel free. What did you think of the film?
So I was, like I said, I was pretty excited for this movie. This movie was literally the Avengers 2012, I think. This is like a team up. I don't remember Marvel doing another team up in recent years. Guardians, yes, Guardians. And Guardians was so with the director, Mr. Gunn.
James Gunn.
I think he nailed it, obviously. The first, the second one, and now we're waiting for the third one. This one, this is a tough talk, man. You know, I was hoping here's the thing. I don't like watching trailers anymore. Like, I think trailers these days are cut so differently. Like they reveal too much. And I understand I think it's harder to pull people into the cinemas because just wait a few weeks and you'll find it online. You know, that's what life is right now. And so they have to work extra hard to pull people to come to the cinemas. So we have to reveal a couple of things. That's why I'm so surprised with Marvel's marketing for Spider-Man, because they're really not showing much. They're really not showing much. But with other trailers, man, they just like, let's just go. So I watched a few trailers, and the trailers, impressed me. It's a Marvel movie, of course. Like I was like, okay, this is nice. This is going to be the standard Marvel movie, and it's going to deliver. But to be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the movie. Like I gave it on social media. I gave it a 6.5. I gave it a 6.5, and the characters were amazing. The characters were great. Salma is amazing. Angelina Jolie is amazing. Everyone, man, the way the characters are written and the relationships between how they interact. Every different Eternal has a different relationship towards each other. So everyone's just fleshed out. Everyone is just, we know who they are. We have a sense of family within them and stuff like that. It's just, I am still literally trying to figure out what I didn't like. I'm still trying to figure, because the fight scenes also were good. I forgot the speedster's name, but I think that's my
Makari.
Yes, she's my standout. She was amazing. Her scenes were amazing. She's, I think if they're gonna do a Flash movie, I hope I see what I saw in the Eternals, because the fighting, everything, like, she's amazing. Her running is great. I'm still trying to figure out what fell flat in terms of because the movie is long. So they had enough time to maybe deliver on everything. And usually, when I leave a movie, whether doing Marvel or whatever, I have favorite parts. And I was like, oh, did you see that part? That's my standard part. But I think the thing that interested me, that stayed with me the longest, only came after I watched the movie, which was the post-credit scene, where I realized who Chloe just revealed that the person who Keith was talking to is Blade. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. I wish we saw him, but they probably haven't done the costumes and stuff yet. So that's the most exciting part for me. The movie, though, it was like the movie felt like episode 1, 2, 3 of a 10 episode series.
That's
it felt like episode 1. Yes, it felt like episode 1, 2, 3 of a 10 episode series, because with WandaVision, I always tell people, I'm like, guys, if you can go through the first 3 episodes, trust me, you're in for a ride. After those 3 episodes, it's amazing TV. So it's just a setup, and that's why I'm not mad at it. Eternals is a setup, and we're probably going to enjoy their future appearances way more. Like, we're probably going to enjoy when they show up in maybe whatever movie they show up in, or maybe even the sequel, even though the sequel's probably like 5 years away, Eternals 2. We're probably going to enjoy that. So we needed this movie to explain who they are, because it's such a big concept to explain to people. Like, to Guardians was weird, to explain it to people, to introduce people to a talking raccoon, blue woman and stuff like that. It was pretty complicated to explain to people, especially people who've never heard of the. But Eternals too. Eternals, I've never read an Eternals book. I just know, I've just heard stuff from YouTube videos about them. I know Jack Kirby created them and stuff like that. But I have never really read an Eternals book. So I just, before the movie, I just caught up on who they are and what they mean to the Marvel Universe. And I was like, this is very space opera vibes, and it's going to be really hard to pull off. So it was really like a great job for the director to try and explain and introduce these people, and also tell us, hey guys, actually these people have been around before even the first Avenger. These people have been around before everyone. They were the first superheroes on Earth. So I think that she did it well. The jumping back and forth through times and stuff like that. It was a lot though, like jumping back to the BC times, AD times, and then to present times. That was well done. But I don't know, there's something I'm still trying to figure out on what fell flat to me. And I think I need a second watch, honestly.
I'm also thinking, like, I need a second watch. I enjoyed it while I was watching it.
Yes,
it's probably not like my top 10, but but I was like, I don't see it. It doesn't seem like that bad. Like, I wasn't bored. I understood everything that was happening, like, compared to other movies. But because Thor: The Dark World, I don't know what was going on.
It's so funny because I don't think I finished that movie. I think I tried to watch it on my couch recently, like 3 years ago, and I fell asleep. So I don't think I finished that movie, like, literally. And that's so weird for me to even say. After 25 movies, I think that's the only movie I ever. But yeah, you're right. It's it was entertaining. It was engaging. Everything, we were understanding everything and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. Like, because I know Captain Marvel, I felt like they could have done way better. Like, after I was done watching the movie, I was like, this movie could have been way better. But here I was like, this movie is cool. It's not as bad as everyone's saying online, Then what happened? Like, what's going on? Maybe I'm not sure. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I feel like it's a story thing for me. Like, it's like something at the like the myth and stuff I kind of get, and I see why they had to set it up, and I'm glad they did. But there's something with, like, the main conflict, like, between, like, not that I did, like, I bought the whole Icarus thing, like, that made sense to me.
Yes,
but like, when that mixed with the deviants started, like, intersecting each other, it just seemed a little bit messy for me.
Yes.
Like, there's something
and I think these people had to supplement a villain with Icarus, because the deviants went much. They were just CGI monsters who don't have, like, real backstories until the, like, halfway through the movie, when they start being able to speak and stuff like that. But there was no villain you walk away with and saying, wow, that's a great villain. The Eternals were just fighting monsters, like CGI monsters who couldn't speak or anything like that. And I think Icarus was just a supplementary villain also. And even he wasn't a real villain. He just thought he was doing the right thing. And then at the end, he just, decides to kill himself and stuff like that. So I don't think satisfactory in the villain's sense, but also at the same time, like I said, it's a startup movie. It's the first movie, so we're probably gonna see better opponents later and stuff like that, because we if I can just check at the state of the state of Marvel Cinematic Universe right now, we are probably back in 2008 again, where the Incredible Hulk just came out, Iron Man just came out and stuff like that. Because now we're just setting up multiverse and space and universal wars and stuff like that, with introductions of Eternal. Everything was so space based. I mean, everything was so Earth based in the first 10 years, and that was great. And right now, I think we're setting up the space and multiverse, and because there's so much happening right now. And like in terms of what Spider-Man's going to probably do, what Doctor Strange is probably going to do. But because it's a setup, sometimes setups are not mind-blowing, they're not mind-blowing, but usually, like I said, the first 3 episodes of a series also rarely do they capture you or something like that. And like WandaVision, you have to go through the first 3 episodes and then you're like, wow, this is a real series. But yeah, that's the one thing I didn't like. Also, the villain side of the story was a bit lacking. They didn't have really a proper villain. You could say the what is their commander?
The Celestial.
The Celestial. You could say that's also a villain, but he didn't really show himself that much, and he was just a villain in the shadows, basically. Literally just a villain in the shadows. But moving on to stuff that I didn't understand. So one thing they said is that they couldn't interfere with humans' wars and stuff like that, And I understand that they can't interfere when humans fight humans. But Thanos, I think he is half eternal and half deviant. So he's not human at all. And they could have helped there. But there's only so much you can do with stories. So I think they just literally brushed that underneath the carpet, because they were supposed to intervene there, because he's
technically a deviant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even if he wasn't a deviant, it'd still be an alien. So they need to help out there, because it's not human versus human. But I thought they would explain that in the movie and stuff like that, but they didn't explain. And I also found it peculiar that they put the Black Knight arc here, because the Black Knight felt like commercials. Like it was, here's 2 minutes, here's 2 minutes, here's 2 minutes.
Your uncle.
Yeah. They just try to find a movie where they could just quickly introduce this character, and I was like, okay, at least we have a new character on top of these like 6 or 7 characters. So he's probably gonna get his own Disney show or maybe a movie even. But pretty much, it didn't change my life. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it didn't change my life. I didn't walk away like, wow, that's my new favorite Marvel movie or top 5 of the year or anything like that. Because unfortunately, I watched this. I love watching Marvel movies in IMAX. I think you benefit from the sound and everything like that. Unfortunately, I watched this movie at a normal cinema, because it was a pre-premiere. And in my head, I was like, okay, sharp. I'm gonna watch Eternals, and then next week I'm probably gonna go to IMAX and watch it again, so I can get the real experience. But now I'm so lazy. Like, I'm literally very lazy to just go watch it again. I'm like, if I do have to watch it again, I'll probably just wait for it to come out on Disney Plus or something like that. But right now I'm just feeling so lazy. So just to that fact should tell you that I wasn't really moved by the movie. I wasn't really, but people have such different opinions, because I see a friend of mine came back and said that he felt like it was like an 8. So it was like a really good movie and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, I expected people to have very different opinions, because I saw another opinion that says you're very generous with the 6.5.
I saw that tweet.
Yeah, very generous. And I was like, we have different opinions. I think these movies touch us in different ways. You pick out things in different ways, and
you have different preferences also. There's some people that don't like these like space-based, like these very mythology based
Exactly. Exactly.
movies, and you're not going to
Because
enjoy
yeah,
anything.
this is about to be very. If people, I think the first 10 years of Marvel was pretty straightforward, but I think they're about to go very weird. I think they're really about to go hella. They're gonna take it to weird places where you really have to follow along. You know, I've seen people ask that what movies can I quickly watch to watch Infinity War or Endgame? Because I remember it must have been tough back in 2018 and 19 to not have been following the MCU. And then now Infinity War and Endgame are the biggest pop culture things. And then now you're in a scramble to try and catch up. And you have to watch like 18 movies and stuff like that. I would see people saying, what 2 or 3 movies can I watch to catch? And there's no 2 or 3 movies. You have to watch the whole thing. Literally, there's no 2 or 3 movies. So now I think from here on, it's probably going to get worse. Like they're going to go very weird. They're going to go deep in space. I see they're introducing Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
They and in phase 1, 2, and 3, and phase 1, 2, and 3, Guardians were the weirdest thing. But now when they even introduced Harry Styles, I didn't know who the hell that was. I was like, and then he says it's Thanos' brother. I was like, I've never really heard of Thanos' brother. And who is this leprechaun that's coming out? Usually, you know, post-credit scenes, you're like, oh, as a Marvel fan, you're like, oh my God. And then you have to explain to everyone else, like, oh, guys, don't worry. That was just, you know, back when we watched Avengers and Thanos put his hand in the gauntlet and said, I'll do this myself. You know, you were like, oh, you know, guys, that's just Thanos. You know, Thanos is, you could explain to people. But this time, this post-credit scene, I was like, I don't know who that was. I have no idea who that was. I didn't know Thanos has a brother. I don't know who that leprechaun guy is, but I guess we'll see. So that gives me, like, that makes me hopeful that Marvel is just going to go weird for this next 10 years because they have to. I think they have to because I was worried about comic book movie fatigue, you know, because generally audiences will get tired of this soon enough.
Yeah.
But like Westerns were the thing back in the day, and you know, and then now they disappeared. I will be surprised if we get 10 more years. I will honestly be surprised if we get 10 more years. I thought after this Endgame, people are leaving. But if Marvel is able to make $1 billion with Spider-Man and $1 billion with Avengers 5 and 6, I'll be like, shame you guys have a 20-year run. I'm impressed. I'm really impressed.
But I think they're going to go a little bit more, like, as you said, a bit more weird. So probably be a bit more niche. So you have different audiences for different things. Yes. But I also only know Star Fox because I read like this one line of She-Hulk where he gets accused of like sexual assault. And then like I didn't know much about the character. And then when the leprechaun came, I'm like, what the hell? and then when he came out, and I said, because I took my nephews and I said, like, I don't think anyone's going to call this character by its name. They're going to call him Harry Styles.
Exactly.
Like, oh yeah, and Harry Styles. And then Harry Styles came in.
But I'm glad. Like it's expanding. It's kind of so sad that we kind of lost Robert Downey and Captain America and Chris. But it's cool that we're introducing with Eternals. I didn't think they'd introduce such heavy hitters. I liked Marvel's approach in the sense of getting not so known actors to do Iron Man to do. So they brought underdog characters to do underdog. They brought in underdog actors to do underdog characters because Iron Man wasn't huge back then, you know. And Robert Downey Jr. wasn't huge back then, and now he's one of the biggest stars in the world. And Chris Evans too, and stuff like that. And now I think it's a different approach in the sense of they're saying Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, like legends for such big roles. And you know, I want to see how that strategy pans out and stuff like that because Marvel, one thing Marvel never does is fail on casting. I think they
Mm.
have amazing casting. Their casting has just been 10 out of 10 for all these years. They've never casted somebody and I was like, ah, that role would have been better with someone else. They always have great casting, from Thanos, Josh Brolin and stuff like that, to Robert Downey Jr. being Iron Man, to Chadwick Boseman being Black Panther. Their casting is amazing. So with Eternals casting, I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm surprised they chose such big names to fill, like Athena, God of War, and Salma Hayek also. But it's cool. Let's see what they're gonna do with it. As long as they don't mind sticking around for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Because that's what they probably want to have to do. Angelina's probably signed on, hopefully, to a 10-year, 12-year contract and stuff like that, which I guess is fine. But yeah, I think that's one of the good points of the movie. Like, if you'd ask me, what are some of the good points of Eternals? Like I said, the fight scenes were not bad. They were good. The speedster is amazing. Gilgamesh also is also a favorite. Who's the Bollywood star?
Kingo.
King, yes. He's also a highlight of the movie with the guy who's doing the documentary for him. I like that dynamic was so funny. It felt like he was vlogging, which is so familiar to me. So I like that dynamic. Like I said, the relationships were amazing. The Cersei and Icarus and Black Knight triangle was also kind of funny too. The love triangle between those three characters was kind of funny too. And I don't know if you noticed this, but Marvel really pushed out so much DC references in this movie.
Yeah.
And I was
Superman,
like,
Batman.
Yeah, Superman, Batman. I was like, okay, what is going on? Like, are they? And I would love to see DC do the same thing in return, like as a response to that. Because I was like, okay, they're referencing Superman and stuff like that, and Batman. I'm like, oh, okay. So in this universe, those people are just fictional characters, I guess, which is so funny and fun to think about. I was like, okay, that's actually such a fun thought that Superman is just a character in this universe, like a TV character, which is pretty dope. And yeah, and I loved Brian Henry. Is that his name? Yeah.
Brian Tyree.
Yes. Yeah, his character was also dope with the technology. Was amazing. Loved his family. Loved the son who was intrigued by everyone. Yeah, man. Like, character-wise, this movie was great. Like, characterization was on point. The characters were well fleshed out, and I wish Salma Hayek got more screen time. I just wish she got more screen time, but also the movie would have been 3 hours then. But yeah, everyone else, I felt like they had their chance to shine.
When we went to Salma's house and she was dead, I was like, oh my gosh, really? We
exactly, like already.
Okay. I'm so glad they did flashbacks. I was like, what?
Exactly.
How much did they pay for just to? This is a cameo.
So I'm even asking myself, like, are they going to bring her back somehow, or because they're just machines in the end of the day? Because they're just machines. They could just recreate the Eternal, but it looked like her death was final, and I was like, I thought these people, everyone here is going to stick with Marvel for the next 10 years and stuff like that, but they killed Selma, and it was like, wow, okay, I thought she's gonna have more screen time, which is sad, but I guess her death was necessary just because, people will always cry and say, Marvel, no one dies. It's so Marvel's so soft and stuff like that, and everything by the end of the movie is okay. Everything else by the end of the movie is great. There's no consequences in Marvel movies. So I guess I was like, okay, I guess that death was necessary. It's fine. But yeah, I mean, every character, Shem, they shined. I loved everyone in the movie. Every character shined through that movie. Like, it was really well written in that sense. The director handled that very well. There was a bit of the lack of set pieces, I guess. Like, I'm not sure which review I watched, but they were like, there was a lack of the grand finale of a Marvel movie. And yeah, them, I guess, trying to freeze the celestial that's coming out of Earth, and them fighting Icarus. It felt like a fight scene from the middle of the movie and not really the end of the movie. But at the same time, I guess maybe we're spoiled because we know the end of Marvel movies is just like Captain America picking up Mjolnir and fighting Thanos. Yeah, so that's like screaming and getting out of. I think we're definitely going to scream for Spider-Man. Something amazing is going to happen at the end of Spider-Man. Something's amazing going to happen at the end of Doctor Strange. This fight scene at the end, it felt like it's a fight scene in the middle of the movie. It was okay. I wish there was bigger set pieces, but maybe it's just we overfed and we just want bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So maybe this was nice and compact and wrapped the story up really well. But yeah, I mean, we all have different opinions. Some people could have said that's a great fight scene and like that's a great way to end the movie. But yeah, I mean, it felt like I can say it felt like Dune in the sense of Dune was a long movie, but at the end of the movie, I was like, "What? It's over." But they were explicit in telling us, guys, this is just part one. Yeah, this is just part one. So this also felt like part one of a movie and stuff like that. So I felt like I wish part two could come out literally next year, and then they're in the game. We've introduced everyone, we've fleshed out the relationships. Now let's see what these Eternals can really do. Let's see the extent of their powers, because now Cersei can even turn living beings to objects. So the powers are already developing, and we're seeing some growth within these characters. So there's some huge potential in these characters, and I cannot wait to see what they'll do in the MCU, because we never know where they'll pop up. It cannot be. I doubt it'll be Eternals 2 before we see them again. We'll probably see them in other movies making cameos. Could be Captain Marvel, could be Doctor Strange. Any of these movies actually are perfect fits.
Or Guardians 3, or like I can see them.
Exactly. Guardians, they would be a perfect fit there too, because I think Marvel it's so fleshed out. The MCU is so fleshed out that anyone can appear anywhere, which is what I was kind of sad about in Eternals at the end, because I was so sure that someone is going to pop up and say, what's going on? The earth is shaking. And I thought maybe Doctor Strange would show up to come and check out what's going on. Anyone from Earth, like anyone from the Avengers, come to check out what's going on. There's a huge disturbance, and none of the MCU characters showed up to check what's going on, which I think is a big mistake, because would have loved that. I think that would have given me like oh, okay, sharp. Let's not forget this is a connected movie. But I guess they tried their best with the mentions of the Avengers and stuff like that. But I would have loved to see someone else show up in the movie and say, guys, what's going on? What are you guys doing here?
Like, I think that Shang-Chi did that really well, is where it felt like its own thing. But then, we had Wong and we had like Hulk and Captain America like popping in just at the end to like sort of like remind us.
You just reminded me how much I loved that. You just reminded me how much I loved it. Because I think Wong is not a difficult character actually to just bring into a movie. So Shang-Chi really did that really well. I was like, great, that's amazing. And then the post-credit scene, it also, after I enjoyed Shang-Chi so much, after such a good movie, that post-credit scene also like made you more excited even. Like, oh, snap, Hulk is here, Captain Marvel is here. It's such a nice reminder that, hey, guys, we're in the MCU. But I guess they wanted to have their own little thing on the side. But it would have been so great to see literally anyone come show up and say, guys, what the hell's going on here? Who are you guys?
So what are you looking forward to coming up?
Looking forward 100% to Spider-Man. I think Kevin Feige is trying his utmost best to temper our expectations, because it could be, because everyone is right now is expecting everyone from every Spider-Man thing ever. Like it's our expectations are really high, Shem. I'm also trying to temper them, because I 100% will be. I know I'll be disappointed if Tobey Maguire isn't there, if Andrew Garfield isn't there. We all have our fingers crossed that it's literally everyone. And I'm just looking forward to much more than movies. I'm just looking forward to how they're writing this thing, like the whole multiverse thing. Because I don't know if you saw the Morbius trailer. The trailer, the Morbius trailer. Apparently, it references every single Spider-Man that's ever been, from Tobey Maguire to Andrew Garfield to the Spider-Man now. So, is that telling us that after this movie, after the Spider-Man movie, the MCU might be broken in the sense of everything is going to be mismatched. Literally, they're going to. I'm hoping this means Sony and Disney worked out a deal, and now they are closer than before.
Yeah,
because it was a weird deal. I've never seen such a weird where they do their own movies there, and then we just come together for Spider-Man. It's such a weird deal. But now they're saying, guys, let's just share these people. You'll get the profits when we do Spider-Man characters, but let's just share these people and let's make them. Or is just Peter Parker going to travel between universes after this? Like, is he gonna go to Venom's place and Morbius' place and then be able to come back and fight with the Avengers? But I would just generally like if the Avengers knew who Venom was, and it's just one world now. But that's just business. That's literally just business and it's contracts and signing. So I'm not sure if that would ever happen. But it looks very interesting. And what happened with Loki, what happened with Spider-Man, and because we still don't know who broke the multiverse properly. Like, I don't think we have the proper answer, because was it the killing of the one who remains in Loki? Is it Spider-Man interrupting Doctor Strange, or is the multiverse of madness going to have to do something with like what is the point?
Or Wanda. I feel like Wanda could have
Wanda,
done
yes.
something.
Wanda did something because she heard her kids at the end of WandaVision. She probably heard them in another universe where she actually did have kids. So there's so much we don't know, that which is the epicenter, what really broke the multiverse, and how are we going to get the X-Men? How are we going to get now Fantastic Four? Like, I feel like it's going to be such a long wait. It is going to be such a long wait. We're probably like 4 or 5 years away from the first mention of Wolverine, or they haven't even found Wolverine yet. So we're still so very far. But I guess these snacks that we're getting right now with Blade and She-Hulk, and I'm also looking forward to see if because I can see, man, there's a fight. I'm also looking forward to see if Marvel will just agree just to take in Charlie Cox
Oh,
as
please.
Daredevil.
This is all I want in life, is for the Netflix shows to be canon.
Exactly. Like, it's such a weird thing, because I'm like, it's so easy for you guys to do. Like, it's literally easy. There's no, you've got the characters, you've got the Kingpin, you've got the Punisher and stuff like that.
Oh, the best Kingpin, the best Punisher.
Exactly.
Like, I can't.
So
best Luke Cage, best Jessica Jones. Oh, I love
they have
them.
the writers. It's so easy for you guys to integrate these people into the universe. So I think we're just playing a game of chicken right now to see how long it'll take before they reveal and say, okay, guys, you know what? We've heard your cries. These people are now canon. They're in the MCU, and that'll be amazing. That'll be amazing. And then
do you hear the theory that that Charlie Cox might be in Spider-Man?
Yeah, like that was the biggest theory when the trailer dropped, because they're like, is he the lawyer or something like that? And you can't tell me Marvel is not seeing the demand. You can't tell me Marvel is not seeing the demand. Everyone wants it. Everyone would be happy with it. And it's just a small character. Like, it won't really destroy much. I think Jessica Jones and them are just street level heroes. So it won't destroy them that much. It's just taking out a budget of like maybe 5 mil and saying, guys, give these guys a 12 episode show on Disney Plus. Change some slight things away from Netflix and just carry on the story on Disney Plus. But like, literally, this is up to suit heads up in the offices and we don't know what will happen. Marvel is really good with keeping secrets. Like literally, I saw Harry Styles is in Eternals literally maybe 2 weeks before the movie, but it was just like one tweet and nothing else. Like it was just one tweet and nothing, and I just decided to ignore it. But he probably would have already shot the scene by then. And I'm like, they're really good with keeping secrets, so we don't know what's on the cards. We don't. For them, just keeping the footage of Spider-Man close to their chest means something huge is going on in that movie.
Yeah.
And the month wait, we have to wait until we actually see it. You know, I doubt they'll drop a second trailer, but they probably will drop a second trailer. But then that'll be it. Unlike Eternals had 10, 20 trailers. I felt like every time I was scrolling on Instagram, there was an Eternal clip. They really pushed this movie. They really pushed it really hard. And I wonder how this low rating will affect them. Are they just going to keep it moving? Or are they going to be like, okay, we need to rethink how we do the sequel? Because also, I'm not sure, but I think they changed the directors for Captain Marvel. I think they did. I heard something like that. I don't know if the same director, because it was a two-team director.
Yes, a different director. It's
someone I know.
It's someone I know though. Wait, I don't know
if they're changing them or they're keeping them on, because the ratings weren't so great. But also, man, it's like Captain America, the first one. That's not a terrible movie, but as soon as Winter Soldier came along, it was a different ball game. Like that was that's a lot of people's favorite Marvel movie, you know, Winter Soldier. And that happened because I think they changed the directors. And even Civil War was not bad, even though a lot of people don't really like it. I personally think it was a bit too early to adapt Civil War, because if they wanted Civil War, it should have been everybody. But it's fine as long as we got I'm just grateful for that movie because it gave us Spider-Man
and Black Panther.
In Black Panther, and that's the greatest Black Panther version we'll see on screen ever. But yeah, man, like I'm excited for what's going to happen in the next 10 years. I hope they still make a little bit of money, in the sense of if they're not going to touch billions anymore. I hope it's still profitable for Disney to keep making these movies, because as soon as Disney doesn't see any money, they'll cut them, and then we're back to the early 90s or really the early 2000s, where there were comic book movies, but it's like one a year. And like, compared to now we get like, I think next year we're getting 6 movies.
Sure.
Yeah, it's scary, because I'm like, hey guys, I think you're overwhelming normal people. That's just too much movies. At the same time, I'm like, yay, I get to watch 6 movies in 1 year, comic book movies in 1 year. But I'm like, I feel like people are going to get overwhelmed now. They have to go watch Flash, the Batman, and then Doctor Strange, and all these movies and stuff like that. But I'm just hoping for the best. Can we get 10 more years? And then, you know, I'll be happy.
Hey, George, thank you so much for this. This was so much fun. I enjoyed
no stress. It's honestly a pleasure to be invited to a podcast to talk about something that I would talk hours about, basically. That's because like I would definitely talk hours about this. I'm glad we had a time limit, because if we had to start from if you said, George, let's start from 2008 and just talk about the Incredible Hulk. Okay, so the Incredible Hulk, I think they should have, I think we could start from 2008.
I would love that. That's my ideal day.
It'd be a 6-hour podcast, but we'd get a lot of things done. No, but I'm so happy you invited me. Thank you so much. I love talking about these things. I barely get to talk to people about them in such deep analysis ways, because general audiences just watch the movie and it was nice or it was not nice. But being able to talk about the lore and the future, the past, and going deep into this, and we haven't really even touched Eternals even that much. I think we could still go deeper, like breaking
We
down scene by
could.
scene. But this is also just a great talk that we had right now, definitely.
Okay, that was our chat with George Mnguni. You can find him on all social networks at Okay Wasabi. Okay, now it's time for our crushing on segment. Leanne, what have you been crushing on this week?
So I don't know how, but we started watching some Bollywood movies. They are very long, so it's been one a weekend for the last 2 weekends, and we started with Happy New Year, which my husband has been nagging me to watch, and I keep putting it off. And eventually we watched it, and oh my god, I think I'm crushing on Shah Rukh Khan because in Happy New Year, the first scene you see him in, he's like in a fighting ring, and obviously he's topless. And I did not believe that was his body. Like, I had to Google it because I was like, there's no way. That's like a proper 10 pack, like a 10 pack, defined, all of them, with back muscles and side muscles. And then, obviously, because it's a Bollywood movie, you get it in like 10 different angles in slow mo. There was an excuse to throw water on him and he'd do a hair flip while doing all of this with the muscles. And I was shooketh because he's like 40 something at the time this movie was made. And it was his body. Like that was him doing that. So that was amazing. I would 10 out of 10 recommend. Also, it was a good film, despite just Shah Rukh Khan's body. It was a really cool film about it's very much Bollywood trying to do an Oceans vibe.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's like a heist movie. It's a heist movie set in a dance competition and how that comes about, which is it's funny and it's heartwarming and it's all that stuff. And then the next movie we watched was Om Shanti Om, also really good. It's not. I mean, all Bollywood movies tend to be a similar level of if it's a romance, it tends to be a similar level of cheese. But this one was really good. Even Steve at some point got like super hooked into it because yeah, there's it has to do with reincarnation. So you have Shah Rukh Khan playing two people and set in the 70s and then coming back into like a modern day vibe and getting revenge and doing the things. And it was just really, really cool. So yeah, I'm somehow crushing on Bollywood movies after all this time. Who would have thought? And you?
You've always kind of been a fan. It's not like
I
I
know, but
mean, you
I was
introduced me to
very
Bollywood movies.
I was very like I watched the Bollywood movies that were popular when that was popular everywhere, like Kabhi Kushi or
Hmm.
Kuch Kuch or Kahuna. Or it's been a while since I was attempting to watch stuff I hadn't already seen and just watching
Hmm.
it so that Steve could see my point of reference.
Yeah.
So it was cool to like discover new Bollywood stuff together, even though it was very old movies.
I so this week, like literally in like 2 days, I watched all of Hacks.
Oh
Um
wow!
yeah, so Hacks is a comedy series. It has Jean Smart as this woman, Deborah Vance, and she's like a old like an aging comedian. She's like a Joan Rivers type. And then there's this comedy writer called Ava, played by Hannah Einbinder, whose mother Lorraine Newman was one of the original Saturday Night Live cast members, like in real life. But anyway, so this character Ava, she's like a comedy writer, and then she gets cancelled for making like a joke on Twitter, and then she just like she loses her job, and she's like trying to find a job, and then they kind of get her this job writing for Debra, and Debra has never hired a writer before, but they kind of
Mm,
vibe and they hate each other, then they like each other, and it's also like a mentorship type thing, but it's such an interesting dynamic because it's not just like this, oh, these old people are so out of touch and all these young people are so entitled. It's like it
mm,
shows you like the pros and cons of both, and like like what the millennial girl is or Gen Z is struggling with, and also what the older woman, like especially being a woman. Like I mean, obviously you see this in Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, you see this in a lot of other shows, but like being a woman in comedy is was difficult, and the way that she sort of like she paved her way and how to refresh her content and all that sort of things. It's very heartwarming, and it's also very funny, and you know I enjoyed it so much. Like I started watching the first episode and then I was like sucked in.
Hooked.
And it's 10 episodes. So I watch like five one day and the next day I watch five and I was done and I was just like, okay, what now? But yeah, that's what I've been crashing on this week. I'm a big fan of it. It was really good. It was really well done.
Amazing.
But thank you so much for joining me, Leanne, and thank you for everyone who listened to the thing thus far. Hope you have a great 2 weeks. We will see you with our next episode, episode 10. Whoop, whoop. The show is produced by me, Karen, and Rebecca Barches. The show is edited and engineered by Rebecca Barches. Our admin is done by Leanne Phillipson. Our logo was designed by Nathifa Maroof. And the show was created in partnership with IGN Africa. If you like the show, tell everyone that you can, any way that you can. Keep up to date with our episodes by subscribing to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And please rate and review the episodes on Apple Podcasts, as it helps others find the show. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another in-depth conversation with a pop culture lover. See you then.